Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Nia. I'm logging in for our third Friday feature featuring our board. And we started off with Malika A. Shabazz. And last week we had Haja Kamila Shoaib. And this week we are joined by another one of our board members, Margari Aziza Hill. There she is. I'm going to go on ahead and bring her in the room so that we can get started. Just before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of background on Black Muslim Girl Fly. For those of you who are just now getting to know us, we were established in 2018, and that year I had attended Sundance, and I was met with a lot of disappointment with regard to the storytelling that features Black and Muslim people. And so I had the inspiration to start our own film festival. And from that idea, Black Muslim Girl Fly was born, and we held our first film festival in 2018. Now, here in 2024, we are a nonprofit organization, and we are federally and state for this year, including another installment of our Black Muslim Girl Fly Film Festival. But before we get talking about that, I want you to get to meet our board members. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum, Margaret. There you are.
Alaikum salam. I wish I could blur it out. I'm on the road, so really excited to come on. Jumu'ah Mubarak, everyone.
Hey.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it's really great to see everyone. Blessed Friday. When they say thank God it's
Yes.
Friday, we really mean it as Muslims.
Indeed, indeed. So before we get started, I want you to introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, where you grew up, and what you're doing now.
Sorry, I had a call coming through, so I just had to put my do
Oh,
not disturb on.
no
I
worries.
gotta know what's happening. What is happening?
Technology. Technology. No, so I wanted to introduce you. We can start with you telling everyone who you are, where you grew up, and what you do now.
Well, I just wanted to say hello and greetings to everyone joining us. It's still morning in California, so for everyone in on the East Coast or mid, I think it's still morning in the Midwest
Mhm.
and your time because you're a mountain zone, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So thank you all. So I guess a little bit about me. Besides, I mean, I what I love about doing this work and working with you, Nia, is that um, I've always been a storyteller. So I remember my mother had this little address book, and even before I could write, I used to scribble in there, and and so for me, it's like being a creative. It's sort of like this, that's the part where like my identity actually developed. So my background is I I actually embraced Islam at 18 years old. When I was like my first year of college, I was at community college. So that's another part of my identity. Um, and that was in 1993. So, like it's been quite a journey. So it's been 30 years that I've been Muslim. And I've grown a lot, gone through a lot of changes. I'm a mother. I have a 12-year-old. And doing this work, like she definitely inspires my work. She is like a brilliant young Black Muslima. And I really want her to be able to see herself, like see herself in the storytelling. Um, and also when she's watching filmmaking, right? Like when she's watching a film, to see more accurate depictions, right? Like not the caricatures that we see. So I guess like a little bit about my other than being a nonprofit leader, my background is I'm trained as a historian. I'm an educator and lifelong learner, and yeah, I mean I just kind of been like running around multitasking, doing a lot of things, but it's been a very beautiful, fulfilling, and enriching life. Along the way, I've picked up a number of awards for doing work with people like you. So our background is like we both, when you lived in Southern California, and I know you're back and forth to LA a lot. We've worked together on for Break the Room. So that was like a screenwriter's room. That was an amazing experience where
Yeah.
I got to see your brilliance. When so Samira and I had so after the and I'm sorry if I'm circular. So I'll try to get this directed as I land this. This is my first morning
No,
meeting. So
don't apologize.
so
Don't
yeah.
apologize. You are a hardworking woman who runs a nonprofit, so enlighten us.
Yes, we're about to head into Black History Month. So I just want to actually talk about how we got to know each other and how I was like super stoked that and honored and humbled that you would work with us. So after during the Trump elections of 2016, there was a spike in anti-Muslim hate crimes. And in 2017, that really culminated in the Max train stabbings where there were two Black sisters, one who is visibly Muslim, a Black Muslima, and her friend were verbally accosted by an unhinged white supremacist, and three of the bystanders were attacked, and two of them were killed, and that really shook us. And then there was Nabra Hassanin, who is a Black Muslima, who was murdered. After during Ramadan of that
Yeah.
2017. And so out of that, we saw that there was this erasure of Black Muslimas, even though we were facing hate crimes and being targeted. And so one of our fiscal sponsor, Allied Media Projects, during that time had sent us this grant for Pop Collab. And I was just like, we really need, I had emailed Samir and I was like, and I remember when I had met him a few years before, and where he said he had an interest in telling stories and uplifting Black Muslim stories. So I sent him an email and I was like, we got a partner. And I was like, I don't know what it looks like, but we need to partner. And so he did a treatment around a Black Muslima in Los Angeles, and he wanted to do a rapid response, like, so this was like a rapid response grant. And so what we ended up doing was like in the back and forth, I was like, well, another story that we needed to tell in LA is Little Bangladesh, which had a lot of pushback, right? And LA had a lot of tensions between communities, with the Black community, which is getting pushed out, tensions between like with Koreatown, Little Bangladesh, which was getting erased. And so Muslim Arts co-founder is a Bangladeshi American Muslima. And so I was like, we got to tell the story about that is like intersectional, that brings together the communities.
Right.
And so we just did a really quick treatment, and we had a small grant, and we did a call, like a call for this fellowship for like out of that. And so when I reached out to you and we saw your application, we both were like, she's more than qualified than most of the people that we know, right? Like we saw you as like a
For sure.
partner and everything, because we know you had already done filmmaking. But what we thought would be really great is like this screenwriters room was going to be collaborative, and it was like meant to kind of like show what screenwriters rooms look like, how
Right.
people kind of debate
Right.
ideas and come together and everything. And so my part was kind of building out, like coordinating it, helping with the applications, and you rose to the top. So we had 4 women of color, totally amazing. So it was you, Halima Lucas, Thandizwe, oh, is it
Uh-huh.
Chimaranda? Yeah, and then Tanha Dilha. So just really amazing. So I'll try to put their links in because they're brilliant women.
Yes.
Um, my role, like I kind of built the room. I was co-creating it, and what we wanted to do was bring organizers together to talk
Right.
about the social justice issues. So we embedded anti-racism from the beginning, from the
Yep.
recruitment, the storyline, which was meant to disrupt the common narratives around Muslim Americans. And then the no, so the storyline was meant to be anti-racist. The selection of the screenwriters that would come in, that was meant to be anti-racist. We brought in, I created an online
Right.
curriculum, and then each day that we had the screenwriter, this rapid response, we had 1 week to break
Yep.
a story, like to break a script, to write a season. And each day we opened it with some anti-racism lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all wrote for half the day. Then we brought a
Yep.
consultant in to come in for an hour or two to co-create, bounce ideas. And then y'all like wrapped up each day. And out of that, it was just amazing scripts.
It
So
was.
Samir, who is an industry insider, he was able to shop those scripts, and Powder Keg picked it up,
Right.
and they did a whole, like they did the first season. So it took like about a year to like for that to come out, and then so we were able to do the like a screening in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time it was meant to be for digital distribution.
Right.
And at that time we had like Quibbly. Remember that? Remember all
Yep.
that? You know, like
I
it's supposed to
remember
like
that.
change the whole world. It's supposed to be disruptive. Like watch it, because like you know we watch so much
Right.
on our phones, right?
Right.
So it was meant to be on that format. Like even the filming, it was really done really well. We had like the director is a black woman, great actors and
Mm,
everything. Like some of these actors, they've gone on to do amazing
wonderful
things.
things.
Um,
Yes.
and so you know, we'll give them a shout out and everything.
Yeah.
But I just remember in the screen, and you know, when it all came together and they had the first screening, and it was like every all the things that we envisioned, and the your brilliance, like your episodes were so funny and
Oh,
nuanced, and I got to
it
see
was
your
really
brilliance in that.
good.
It was really good. So go check it out. Go check out East de
He's
La
talking
Brea.
about East of La Brea, y'all.
Yeah, East de La, because that is something. So right now, like you could watch that whole season. It was really meant to show like this is
Right.
possible. We can talk
Exactly.
about social justice with
Right.
nuance. Our stories don't have to be in silos.
Right.
So so even though like it went into the distribution purgatory that sometimes like happens, right? Like
Yeah.
when you know, like so like
I try not to
Quibbly and
use
the
the term distribution hell. Just, but
yes,
you're
yeah,
right. The purgatory is a better
yeah,
term.
yeah. It was like this purgatory, and so but it was like such a brilliant story
Hmm.
that it's actually being redone. Like it's being adapted for
Nice.
Europe. So that's like there is a series. So we'll drop that link too, so we could follow that. So I'm really interested to see how do they do it because they're gonna have the full funding. Everything was kind of guerrilla style for
Right.
us,
It
but
was.
you all did amazing. I got to know you closely because I had been admiring you. I knew
Mashallah.
you've done the work. So
Independent
you know,
film is not for the faint of heart.
it is not. It is not. And this, you know, even like you know, like being in the screenwriters room, like I learned so much about power, about creativity, about voice and how you have to advocate for yourself. I've
Right.
seen you advocate hard for yourself,
Yeah.
what you've had to face being in the industry. But the thing that really has really impressed me about you is you're unapologetic, you didn't compromise, you've been always committed to giving back. And so instead of just trying to pump yourself up, like right, like you could have just amplified your career, like you really have been committed to creating a platform for Muslim
Yeah.
filmmakers at your film festival, which I brought my daughter there
I
too.
remember, alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
it was
it was
amazing.
you
Yeah.
did a fantastic,
Alhamdulillah.
fantastic job. And you provided a platform for other filmmakers. So
Right.
you bring other people along with you. So I just want to say, like, Mabruk, Mabruk, congratulations for everything. You left a mark. I still have like students, even like professors, clients,
Hmm.
when they find like they found East La Brea and they show it in their classrooms,
That's,
you know?
that's so
So it's like,
dope.
and they talk about it. Yeah, we like
That's so
sometimes we
dope.
use it in our lesson plans to illustrate certain points, rather microaggressions. Like, I mean, there's like so much stuff
Hmm.
between like even in there, like tensions between, because like in California,
Hmm.
like, you know, the one that we show the diversity of Latinidad. And so it's just like
Right.
there's Moises is
Yep.
from El Salvador. And so
Hmm.
California has like a very strong Chicano culture, but in South Los Angeles, there is like this growing Central American community, which actually includes people from Belize, who are mainly
Right.
Anglophone,
Yeah.
but it's like there's still a lot of connections there. So shout out, like my daughter, she's actually like her great grandmother's from Belize,
Masha-
and you know, and but like having the kind of culture from like El Salvador and highlighting some of the tensions, right, between um, Mexican Americans and, you know, more recent like Central Americans coming in, African Americans,
Mhm.
Bangladeshis, like highlighting that South Asian, like none of these
Yeah.
identities are a monolith. Y'all
Right.
nailed that. Y'all nailed cultural appropriation, call out
Right.
culture, but with
Yep.
such nuance. So
Yeah.
it's like I really love the work that you do and that you're
But
constantly giving back.
that's part of Muslim Arc's mission,
Hmm.
and it is so well aligned with Black Muslim Girl Fly. It just seemed a natural fit and
Hmm.
true to the mission. Muslim Arc has really done a lot. So, I mean, I don't want you to like just be talking about BMG Fly because you have done an amazing job. Like, there's curriculum online, there are programs, and you advocate for anti-racism in all these industries. And like you were saying, you know, working with different clients. And I mean, that to me is so commendable. And I think that's why we became fast friends, because we have the same mission, we have the same passion,
Hmm.
and, you know, and the work stands for itself. So I just want to like make sure everybody knows that, you know, you're pushing an anti-racism agenda so that we can have intersectionality, so that we can have more than just DEI. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The term itself kind of doesn't do the work justice. So yeah, like you were saying.
Exactly. Like it
Mm-hmm.
missing, like, you know, just being included, right? Without thinking
Mm-hmm.
about, you know, like one, it's like we know like the industry,
Hmm.
you know, one, it's like, and there's nothing wrong with like, you know, making money so that we can benefit other people,
Right.
right? But when we talk about like the kind of unfettered capitalism and the ways that the industry operates, like it really, you know, it sees us as
Right.
commodities, right? Like whether the artists, and the audience too,
Yeah. As
and
evident
and it,
by these recent cuts of all these
mhm,
shows being canceled. I
yeah.
mean, obviously there's more going on. I mean, they're not doing, it's not a good business sense to just cut all these black
Yeah.
and brown shows, but they're still doing it.
Oh yeah, like what, you know, the thing is that, you know, when I mean, one, we know like with like with any industry, right? It's like when black folks are the last hired and the first fired.
Mm.
A lot of us were brought on as like in 2020, like when I know like other a lot of the DEI
Yep.
initiatives, right? Like those folks are reneged
And they're
on their
being
pledges.
laid off.
Yeah, they were
Everybody's being laid
laid
off.
off, but and that contributed to the strike, right? Like the
Mhm.
inequities that we see.
Right.
And so when we create alternative pathways to get our story out, and when we make things for us by us,
Right.
that is so important. And this is why your work is really anti-racist at its core. So for those that, you know, like that may not know about Muslim Anti-Racism Collaborative, that we started in 2014. But what we found was in 2013 was that even though like whether it was hashtag conversations during Eid, like when we showed our Eid fits,
Yeah.
like our stuff would go viral,
Mhm.
but yet what we would see in the media, whether that was LA Times or, you know, like the like, you know, New York Times, all of the, you know, they would never show Black Muslim life. And given that Black Muslims in the United States make up about one third, so like 30%, like we're the largest ethnic group of Muslims in the United States. And then globally, Black Muslims make about 18 to 20%. And that's not including the Afro Arabs. So if you get there, I'd be like,
Right.
you're just as likely to be a Black Muslim as to be an Arab Muslim. But
Mhm.
yet, what we'd see was the coverage of like Eid,
Right.
Ramadan was like maybe they'd show like, Central Asia, much of the Arab world, and it was always like one type of
Right.
Arab, right? And
Right.
what we launched was during Black History Month in 2014 was a hashtag called Being Black and Muslim. And then
Mm-hmm.
within 24 hours, that hashtag went
Yeah.
global. So this was before we had an organization. It was just a group of organizers, lawyers, scholars.
Everyone.
Like we were just like, okay, let's come together, do a hat, like start during Black History Month and uplift the narratives. What do Black Muslims want to say about
Mm-hmm.
being Black and Muslim?
Right.
That conversation, it trended globally, and it was like beautiful. Like people were sharing, like our Somali brothers and sisters are talking about sambusas, like the food that they ate. We had the
Right.
diaspora wars right
Oh man, I
around,
remember.
yeah, like around like who had the best jollof rice,
Right.
right? Bean pies,
Yes.
figures like these,
Mm-hmm.
Maya, like just, you know, Islam's anti-racist message, so
Right.
much pride and joy in being Black and Muslim. And we also had the heartbreak, the sense of betrayal within
Mm-hmm.
our own community,
Right.
and the sense of also being excluded within Black spaces. And
Mm.
so we found that from that conversation, it was like, hey, there's a need for us to continue. So Namira Islam, who's a Bangladeshi American woman, like we were just like, okay, she had a human rights background. We had both work on ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, so that was like my research in
Right.
undergrad, and she worked at The Hague. And we were like, if we do not, as Muslim Americans, if we do not address the fractures within our
Right.
community and address anti-Blackness within Muslim communities, we won't be as effective in addressing
Right.
Islamophobia. So there we started that from initiative became an organization. We filed as a nonprofit that year. And I mean, it was just like we had our first panels all from Adam. And we were like the first to bring discussions about race at the largest, at the time, the largest Islam, like Muslim conference in the country at ISNA in
Right.
Detroit. And like we've been on this journey ever since. We had no idea that we'd have the pandemic, that we'd have the national uprising, that we'd be looking
Right.
right now at genocide, right? And
Right.
we're all coming together, like all the solidarity work, all the movement work that we've been able to do and we've been part of through that because of like our solidarity work and bridge building. We've won, and our leaders at Muslim Arc have won numerous awards,
Alhamdulillah.
both within the Muslim community and outside the Muslim community. So, like 2015 Changemaker for our work on Black Lives
Yeah.
Matter. And 20 that was 2015 from Impact. 2020. So I was awarded again, and this was from CARE.
Yes.
Um, like it's just like it's been very humbling, and alhamdulillah, like to see the kind of policy work, to see the shift in the Muslim community, and to see more Black Muslim narratives, to see Black Muslim women
Exactly.
on
Exactly.
TV and movies and be
Right.
spotlighted. And you've been part of that. You've been moving behind the scenes doing that, and
Alhamdulillah.
just being able to convene and bring together. And to see our own creative production and to see you shine has been like one of my greatest highlights of doing my work.
Alhamdulillah. And I think that's why you joined the
Yeah,
board. I think is
I
that
did. Yes.
Alhamdulillah. And when you said yes, I just felt like I said earlier, it's like a natural pairing because our passions are so aligned.
It's a
And with regard
yeah,
to
for
Muslim
Queens.
art,
Girls Gone
hey, yeah,
Hajj.
yeah,
Hey.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, I love those sisters at Girls Gone Hajj.
Kanafa is the
But yeah,
best Kanafa. That is like it's the co-founders of
oh
Black Muslim.
wow,
Amazing. We love Fatma and
all
Rayana,
these
who's
awesome
just
people
an
joining our
amazing,
live.
amazing woman. So thank you for joining us. We hope you join. Like we want to invite y'all to like I mean to come join us at
Right.
Black Muslim Girl Fly.
Yes. So yeah, like tell us. All right. So let everybody know what you are most excited about for 2024 coming from Black Muslim Girl Fly.
I am so excited. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm so excited about the film festival. I've organized one online film festival.
Oh, we lost your audio. But you know what? Malika said the same thing. So, Marguerite, go ahead. Try to adjust your audio. I'm sorry. I think we lost your audio. There you go.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
know my
No, I
what
was
is my do not disturb? I got to put that back on. So I was saying I am so excited about the film festival, and everything leading up to that, right? Like I know all of the programming that you're putting on. Don't mind the people in the back, woo, the listeners. So it's like, but the film festival is like just really a great place of coming together and spotlighting the creativity in our community.
right.
And so, and it's like you accept submissions from all sorts of folks, so
Yeah.
you don't have to be black,
Right.
like to submit. Like there'll be like certain criteria, like obviously you can't just submit anything. So, but it's like it's really like these
Right.
uplifting
Yeah.
stories and these categories
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and spotlighting that. I'm really excited for Ramadan. So
Yeah.
your empowerment program,
I'm so
I
excited.
really need that.
Yeah.
Nia, you are truly an inspiration. So for me, like, I mean, I know, like, you don't like talking about yourself. You're so humble, like, like as a person, but like, I know, like, your story, your strength, your spiritual strength,
Oh,
um, and the tools that you've utilized to push
mm,
through,
yeah.
right? Like, all of us have challenges, right? And you
Right.
face those with so much grace. And to be able to provide a tool where we can deepen our connection with Allah, deepen our connection with our faith,
Right.
with our, with Allah's word, with the
Yeah.
Quran. I am
Yeah.
so excited to be about the empowerment book, which,
Oh, guys, she's talking about this, the
mhm,
guided journal. Okay. And like, there's a little bit of backstory that's connected to what you were saying. Like, my challenges in life are kind of
mhm,
what brought me to creating this journal. And because I am so much really connected to my spirituality and my creator, I felt like the only common sense thing for me to do was to compile practices that I can do consistently
mhm,
instead of procrastinating like I usually do. And then if I follow this routine, this practice, it will get me closer to my goals, but more importantly, strengthen my relationship with Allah, with God. And so that's where the journal came from. That's why there's a Quran tracker in there. That's why there's a Tahajjud prayer tracker in there. And for those of you who may not know what tahajjud, and that's a prayer that you say at night, that you are there present, just you and your creator. And in our beliefs, that is the time when God comes closest to us and says, who is asking for something, let me give it to
mhm,
them. So like I said, this is such a very anchored journal, but there's also places in there for you to express your creativity, and like fly notes to self, reminders of how awesome you are. And then, I could go on and on, but I'm sidetracking. I want to focus back on Marguerite because
No, but
as this,
I wanna just say it's like for somebody that like the last, and I'm not saying like for me it's like hitting the rug is I'm sorry, like there so no man asked why don't you reply to salams. Yeah, I guess we're trying to multitask. So I'll be
multitasking
like,
here.
yeah, sorry, it's like because I'm
It's a
not on
deep
my computer.
conversation. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so sorry.
Here
Um
we go. I'm replying. There we go.
so I'm gonna reply. So
There you
we're
go.
gonna try, yeah, we'll try to, this is all kind of new to us, but the thing is that for me, like hitting the rug has definitely grounded me. My salat, like my thing, but sometimes it's like you could go through the motions, right? And sometimes it's like you're in there, you're out. And I have like, there's only like a few, there's some tools that people have developed, and but I have a lot of notebooks that sit on my
Right.
shelf. But what I know, like for somebody, like there's this one book that talks about like the four tendencies, and
Right.
those are like the tendencies of like Do you have the internal motivation towards self-improvement? Are you motivated from external? Some
Mm-hmm.
people are upholders and upstanders. Other people are rebels, like, so they're going to push back and do their own
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so for me, that I tend to be somebody that is compelled to action out of obligation to other people. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not internally motivated. I have like, it's like my motivation is servitude, it's service.
Right.
So sometimes like that self-care, it goes by the wayside. That
Mm-hmm.
time for reflection, it goes by the wayside. And so having accountability partners for that, it
Right.
really helps me. And then also something that is like culturally responsive, something that can speak to me, like
Mm-hmm.
especially really addressing some of the challenges that I face as a, I mean, I'm a single
Right.
parent and I run a nonprofit. Like my hours, I do long hours. I live in California where it is very rough,
Man.
right? It's like the, it feels very precarious. And for those that, just kind of know, it's like the cost of living, like everything is going up. There's
Right.
a lot of stressors and everything. And we've gone through this pandemic. We're facing all of the things, racism,
Right.
even as we show solidarity, it's like we get attacked, as allies. So,
Right.
these are the kind of things that through Ramadan, like having a sister group where I know I'm not going to face microaggressions. I'm not going to have
Right.
somebody kind of like just always doubt me or my confidence in everything that I do, but
Right.
really understand, what it's like to kind of to be, whether it's like first generation, like I'm first generation, I guess white collar, like professional class, like I come from a working class background, like there, and so being in certain spaces could be very intimidating and overwhelming. And to have a journal to say, I am enough, right?
Right.
I could be fly too,
Yeah.
like I'm fly too. There's nothing,
Yes.
that like that if I put my mind to it, right, and I could get that balance. And
Yep.
I really feel like your journal for me, it brings it down to a real level, like, and I'm not, this is no haterism on our wonderful mashallah scholars, like this. So there's some folks like they're like super, and you are super spiritually elevated too, Nia. At the same time, I needed some people that I could relate to,
Mm-hmm.
that could be like, okay, they could relate to understand the ebbs and flows and pulling
Right.
that together, right? Just pulling, gathering ourselves as like,
Mm-hmm.
as somebody, and so I needed that kind of like bridge, and somebody's like, okay, we know you're here down here and you're in the trenches, right?
Right.
And
And we've all
having
been
this,
there.
yeah, and it's like from that day to day, because your journey through hardship, right? Like your journey through, and I don't want to like speak for you, but it's like your journey has been so inspiring as
Oh
you've
my God.
faced
Yeah.
illness, you face chronic illness,
Mm-hmm.
face the medical system that hasn't cared for
Lord have
you,
mercy.
the community that's like had like really left you, like I've seen you kind of do your thing, but not having the support structure that you needed.
Right. I
And I'm like, you've pushed through with so much. Like anytime you're going through something, I'm like, I'll call you, over these years. And I'm like, how are you doing? You'd be like, Alhamdulillah, like whether it's good or bad. And I'm just
yes.
like, and you say it with intentions, like,
Right.
and I'm like, if anybody else I know would have
Right.
broken, and that you providing those kind of tools to stay grounded. And I'm like, I need to be around this sister. I need to be in contact, because that really strengthens me when
Mm.
I'm going through stuff and I'm thinking about, and I'm like, what would Nia
But that's like,
do?
oh, you're so cool. Like, I mean, but that's exactly what Hajj Camila was saying. We're mirrors to each other. We gather
Mm-hmm.
each other up, and that's really what BMG Fly was created for. Like that's literally like you were saying, when you are going through a struggle and you just don't see a way out, sometimes you just have to gather yourself and just, plant your feet and figure out which way to go. And your sisters can be there to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for my mom, my mother, the OG Black Muslim Girl Fly, I really don't know where I would be.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who introduced me to Allah. So it's like, why not
put this into the hands of almost every Black Muslim woman on earth. That's like my goal. Like, if we can collect each other and connect with each other through BMGFly, then alhamdulillah, my mission in life is accomplished. So
I
yeah.
hope so. It's such a great platform, and to center storytelling,
Hmm.
to center our stories. Because I mean, when you think
That's
about
how
it,
we
right,
make
like
meaning.
the basics, yeah, making meaning of the struggle and connecting that with the spiritual traditions of our
Right.
ancestors, right? Like our spiritual ancestors, the righteous
Yes.
predecessors. It was never easy to be Muslim, right?
Yep.
Islam came into the world strange, and we'll leave, like we'll be
Yep.
strangers, right? So to this dunya.
Hmm.
So it's like when you think about those first, like the sacrifices that they
Right.
made, right? And it's like, and how they were alienated. Like there was the, like I think about like the year of
Right.
sadness, and Khadija radiallahu anha, like when you think about what Fatima went through, right? Radiallahu anha. Like so
Yep.
these are the four righteous women, Asiya, right? Like it's
Right.
just like, so you have some women like that, like, and then you have Maryam, like
Yep.
who is the mother of
Yep.
Isa alayhi salam. So it's just like, like all of their challenges, right? Hajar, who our pilgrimage, right, is on
Exactly.
her tradition. So, each of them, when we think about the basis of the stories, right, it's like there is a challenge, right? Like that life threw them a challenge, and they had to make a choice.
Right.
Baseline of the story, there's that, there's a challenge, there's a
Yeah.
choice to be made, and there's an outcome. And we all benefit because they made the right
Hmm.
choice, and we all reap the spiritual benefits
Right.
of these women who really carried on the faith tradition. And just think, it's like there was that one person that did that,
Hmm.
Hajar, like that one mother
Oh,
who was sent out there into the
yes.
wilderness,
Yep.
right? And then when she ran back and forth to look for water for her son, she could have given up and been like, it's just easier to give up here and just us to perish. But now
Yeah.
there's like over 1 billion of us, and we, like, and that's where we direct our salat. We
Yeah. And
direct
that's
our
where the
salat.
well
She,
of Zamzam came up, and that's why that well still
mm-hmm,
exists. And just think about all the blessings that have come through her ingenuity
mm-hmm,
and her stick to itiveness. Like, she didn't give up, and that's how the well was created, and that's why it still exists. And there's so many of us that are benefiting from that. And like you said, the part of your pilgrimage when you make Hajj, that came from her behavior, that came from her not giving. Listen, if that's not Black Muslim Girl Fly, tell me what is.
exactly. Like there's, and it's like looking at those kind of stories, right? Whether it's like Sephora, like the Norris name
Right.
of the store, right? Sephora, like, but it's just like, so that's like Musa's wife, right? And she is like, when you get to that history,
Yeah.
that's another Black Muslim girl
Yep.
fly. You have like Sumaya, like, and then sometimes like
All
folks
of
who
that.
weren't mentioned, but
Right.
when you get to understanding the identities of the people and like how we were always there,
Yes.
predating Islam, through
Yes.
Islamic history,
Yes.
that we've always had Black Muslim women as like our first, like the first martyr, right, in
Yes.
Islam, bearing witness,
Yes.
those who carried on the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
There are like women warriors, there are women queens, there were Muslim
Yes.
women scholars, like like, so I've done like papers on Nana Asma'u, who was in from the Sokoto Caliphate. Like she supported her brother and
Yes.
being that she was a peacekeeper. We played like critical roles in community,
Yes.
and these stories aren't told in traditional narratives. People aren't really including us in those. Like sometimes there'll be some productions, like the one of the, well, I found was interesting, like the Omar narrative. Like, so there's a series that was done,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually showed Sumaya, and
Wow.
so it was like, like that was like very powerful.
Yeah.
So it's like when we think about like the shift in narratives and making sure that we are included in these powerful moments of
Yes.
like of narratives, and that we see ourselves and that we're not erased, um that can bolster us. And it's not just like, oh, that's for these people over there, but it's like, no, we were part of that journey. We can tap into that.
That empowerment is so important because it enables us to step into our roles without fear, without shame, and like you said, set that example for everyone to see, not just those people over there, because we're universal. And you know, Black Muslim women are kind of like the blueprint. I'm just going to say it.
We
We
are.
set
No, it's really
we
beautiful.
lead
We
folk.
set. Mhm.
That's it. So
And what's
let me ask you, how do you personally embody Black Muslim Girl Fly? Because I could go on and on about, you know, my bamboo earrings and, you know, how much I love hip hop and poetry. But I want to know about you, Margari. Let everybody know how you embody Black Muslim Girl Fly.
I mean, I guess in the multiple ways, but what I am thinking about like right now is just the ihsan in my work,
Yeah.
ihsan and the basic things that I'm trying to do. So I'm really trying to make sure that I'm very mindful, like that in whatever that it is, whether I am like I'm bringing in that dhikr into when I clean my
Right.
house, right? Like when I'm talking to someone, that it's like having the idea, like the embodying of ihsan in that. So that's like important, and so and part of that ihsan includes embracing, you know, my full self. And um and so for me it's like it's really trying to do the work. And so like when I was like really like last night I was just kind of thinking about, you know, like how do I talk to what is my self-talk, right? And so with Black Muslim Girl Fly, like it really gives me the space to start to have that positive self-talk, but it's like really grounded in my faith. Like how does Allah see me? And what is my expectation, right? What is Allah's expectations for me? And being gonna change out my headset. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna change this out. It gives me no warning before it goes out. So, and part of that, when I was like, well, who am I? What are the stories that other people told about me? And what is the story that I want to share in the world? So for me, embodying Black Muslim Girl Fly is thinking about that ihsan of that being, trying to, you know, being excellent, bringing beauty into the world, and then telling the story like a more true, authentic narrative about who I am. Not,
Right.
you know, like, oh, here is this person that's just sensitive just to be sensitive. But it's like, no, like I'm very, you know, I'm sensitive, but it's for a reason. It's to do good work, to be mindful about the thoughts and feelings of other people. So I am definitely excited about getting back to storytelling and finding that space. And so that means that not only am I that ihsan of being, you know, the idea of being fly is also that I'm going to embrace that, and I don't have to be the people pleaser.
Right.
But the only thing I got to really focus on pleasing, the only entity to really please is Allah.
Right.
And that, you know, and I got to bring balance into things. So I hope that's like, I know that's an indirect answer
That's so
to how I'm
good.
trying
Like,
to embody it, but I just really like, it's like getting grounded and you know, and just making sure that I know, like as I'm trying to work on, you know, like as a board member, how do I bring all the lessons I've learned in 30 years being Muslim, but also 10 years of being a nonprofit leader, and a lifetime of storytelling
yes, ma'am.
into supporting this organization
Wonderful.
and the projects, the vision that you have, because it's just a really beautiful vision. And I really appreciate you and the space you've created for me, and other people.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I'm so grateful for that. And I am looking forward to all the great things that we're going to be doing together, especially with you as the chair of the board. I'm just so in awe of you. And as my Muslim sister, I'm just so blessed and grateful to have you. So as we wrap up, I want you to also share about things that are coming on the horizon for Muslim Arc and for you, because I want others to find out more about Muslim Arc and what they can do to help support that organization as well.
Well, thank you so much, Muslim Anti-Racism Collaborative. We are a collaborative organization. So we are really looking forward to launching our organizational membership. What we want to do is provide tools for other nonprofits to bring equity work. We understand the challenges. We're still in this big fight. Like we have a lot of, during this time where we're looking at genocide in Gaza, like it's very important that we uplift the solidarity work, right? We have genocide in Gaza, what's happening in the Congo, in Sudan, especially in Darfur. We really want to make sure that we are showing the global solidarity work that is happening, the transnational work of whether the Bandung, the Afro-Asian solidarity movements. And so in that spirit of our 10-year anniversary, we will really launch during Black History Month. And, where we're super busy, we're going to be in a lot of states, I have 1 week where I'm in 3-4 states.
Wow.
And so, but we're really going to launch our Black History Month campaign. And so what our goal is to really work to empower through our equity fellowship and create scholarships for Black Muslim women to become, one is to have to create a scholarship for a Black Muslima to be an equity fellow, and then for Women's History Month. So each month we'll be working on that, fundraising for the different fellowships that we have. We are planning our symposium in the fall. And so, but do look out on February 10th, we'll be on Instagram Live. So do check us out on February 10th for our 10th anniversary. So we'll have different guests sharing dua, reflections, good words, feedback on why Muslim Arc. And, just follow us if you can.
Yes.
So, I think, my Instagram is not that great, my Instagram game, but I'm learning.
Me too.
Yeah, we're all here, but, but do follow us on all platforms at Muslim ARC. And, and that we look forward to collaborating with Black Muslim Girl Fly.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. As do we. As you are excited and we are excited. And I think when we put our powers together, we're going to create something great. So inshallah, everybody stay tuned. Follow Muslim ARC on all platforms, as well as here Black Muslim Girl Fly. And we also have a new YouTube channel at youtube.com/@ Black Muslim Girl Fly. And then next week, we're going to have another Friday feature. I'm really looking forward to it, and you're going to get to meet so many more women who are behind the scenes putting BMGFly on the map. And I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that we were able to do this with your busy schedule, Margari.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always just wonderful to just take some time and to love on each other. One of the things I also want to highlight, because sometimes, there is that kind of pushback when we get the specificity. But what we know is that when it comes to the Black freedom struggle, especially in the United States, where the fulcrum of white supremacy is anti-Blackness, but when we're able to address, when we uplift, it's when we uplift Black folks, it rises the tide for everybody. It's some groups and it's beautiful. I think it's important to uplift everybody and be specific. At the same time, with the Black freedom struggle, it's everybody's benefited from that, and that's important. When we address the intersectionality, right, those who are impacted by the multiple systems of oppression, when you get those who face that, then it benefits everybody. So let's, part of supporting this work, supporting the kind of narratives, it opens the doors for so many other folks. it allows us, like when we're able to counter anti-Blackness, for many folks, it's like it allows them to counter their colorism, their internalized racism, their
Mhm.
own thing. So it's like it really, like, centering Black Muslim women does help address many of the problems, and it doesn't, like, it's not a zero-sum game.
Yes.
So I just wanted to emphasize that, because sometimes there is that guilting and shaming. There is this idea that either one, Black women are supposed to shoulder all the burdens for things, but we do need solidarity too, because all of the things, like the systemic issues that we face comes from, there's certain narratives like around, we don't feel pain the same
Right.
way, we don't have the same sensitivities, like we're just strong. And sometimes, like, being strong, while, like, I really admire the, and I've had to be fierce
Yeah.
and really fight for what I believe in, but there's sometimes those, our stories get flattened out,
Hmm.
and that can allow for, like, like the medical inequities. And this is why I think,
Right.
you uplifting your story, right, is very important. The financial, like, like on every field, we still are facing, like the, like, for example, like maternal health, it
Hmm.
looks like a conflict zone. Black life is still very vulnerable, both to,
Yeah.
like, state violence, interpersonal
Yeah.
violence, and street violence.
Right.
And Black women are facing that. Black Muslim women and Black Muslim immigrant women are facing
Right.
trafficking. So I'm working with the sister, um, Sister Charmaine, who I believe she's worked with, for get to address victims of trafficking,
Right.
women who are
Right.
incarcerated. So we are all like the forefront, but also impacted by all of these things, and it's affecting our life expectancy. So, I know folks were on the street in 2020 and everything, and we're still like, hey, like, and because of that work and the groundwork of Black Lives Matter, which put on their platform Palestinian liberation, that
Right.
now, like, it shifted the narrative around Palestine. So you could kind of see, like, how those connections happen. And we've had wonderful allies, and even like our Palestinian brothers and
Yep.
sisters who were in the trenches with us, and we're in the trenches with them,
Yep.
that, no one's free until Black folks are free.
That's
And
right.
same thing is, like, we're not free until Palestine is
That's
free.
right.
And so it's like all of that intersectionality is so important. Doing this work is so important.
Hmm.
Your work at Black Muslim Girl Fly is so powerful, and it's joy. It brings us joy. It brings me life to do. And I'm so excited about more storytelling and the film
Yes.
festival, where we can spotlight and
All
provide,
the
like,
stories.
I'm viewing all the films too. Like, it's
Yes.
prepping. I saw Bye Bye Tiberius, which is
Oh.
playing now. Like, it's playing in Los Angeles and New York. So if you're in Los Angeles, watch it, because, like, I'm on the hunt. So, like, as we get the like, not the panel, but the judging committee,
Hmm.
to find, like, what are the most, the documentaries we're gonna give
Right.
awards to, the short films, long films. Who are the people that are going to get awards for the BMGFly Film Festival?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. So do, like, if you got some ideas, give us a head at
That's right.
screenings. Yeah.
No. All right. Wonderful.
Okay.
I'm so excited for what's coming this year, and I know you've got to go, and there are meetings to be had. But I want to remind everybody to stay tuned, follow BMG Fly here, follow Muslim Arc, and look for some more things coming from us down the pike. So, inshallah, we'll see y'all next time. Salaam alaikum and
Alaikum Zarka, Jilani. Yeah.
Salaam alaikum,
Alaikum
everyone.
salam.